I hope everybody's noticed that we got the JFK files dropped today. I don't think it's exactly what we were all expecting because we were expecting a smoking gun. I'd even say there's even more questions. A lot of information I've seen coming out seems to have a bunch of different perspectives. So again, nothing's conclusive. It seems like depending on the perspective you're looking at each individual piece of information, you could interpret it how you would like. So again, unfortunately, I think everything that was released is inconclusive. In fact, probably raises more questions. There's ties to Israel that the CIA wanted redacted. There's information within these files that shows that the CIA seemed to have known more and probably didn't act, right? Along with a lot of conspiracy theories within the United States, it always seems that the government knows a lot of what's happening, but always fails to act. Here is some of the information that I've been able to gather from the files drop that we got today. It seems you could look at it that the CIA had its hand in a lot of what happened, maybe not directly. Some might even say that the CIA orchestrated the whole thing, but I don't think there's conclusive evidence of that. I do believe there was more than one gunman. There is that whole magic bullet theory, which I don't believe that one bullet did all of that damage to two bodies and then was in perfect shape when it was found. I don't know if you've ever looked at ballistics, but when a bullet hits flesh, just flesh, it changes shape. And when it hits bone, which it did in two different bodies, then it would really have changed shape. There's no way it would have kept like that perfect bullet form that you'd expect. Now, there are ties to Mossad and Israel. I don't know how deep those ties go, but there isn't any direct information that says Israel had anything to do with the JFK assassination. Israel just might have had the same amount of information as the CIA and did not act upon it. The newly released JFK files confirm a secret intelligence pipeline between the CIA and Israel intelligence, personally overseen by CIA counterintelligence chief James Angleton. In theory, this wasn't routine intel sharing. It was a deliberate effort to conceal Israel's involvement in sensitive U.S. operations, bypassing standard intelligence channels. Angleton acted as a sole gatekeeper, ensuring that all Israel-related intelligence was filtered through him alone first. Finally, connecting the JFK files to the CIA, there's that whole connection with Gary Underhill and the CIA. Gary Underhill was associated with the CIA, and after the JFK assassination, Gary claimed that there was a CIA group, a small one, that was involved in the assassination of JFK. Following those claims, he was found unalived. Again, we know what usually happens, right? When the CIA is involved and somebody unalives themselves, it's usually not that black and white. And finally, hours before Oswald was murdered, there was a phone call that was received warning that what happened to JFK was going to happen to Lee Harvey Oswald. No action was taken, and as we know from history, Jack Ruby ended up unaliving Lee Harvey Oswald. There's an interesting connection there as well, because supposedly within these JFK files, we find out that Lee Harvey Oswald and Jack Ruby met at a nightclub weeks before. But again, even though we received all of this information, it still leaves more questions than it does answers. There's no smoking gun. Unfortunately, I think we were all hoping for more. That smoking gun, and we didn't get it. And the weirdest question about all of this is, if this is all the information that there is, why? Why did it take so long to be released? Because it does not make sense. Because none of this information directly points to anybody or any organization saying they are at fault. Yet it took this long to be released. The one thing we do know is you cannot trust the government. No matter who's running the government, we cannot trust them, and we always have to be asking questions. I do appreciate that Donald Trump came through on his promise at releasing these files. Hopefully we don't find out later that there's more to it that they withheld, but I am happy that the Trump administration finally let us look over these documents.